Okay, I thought I'd bring you back to the old GS 850. You notice it tore down again. I had to pull the tank and the carburetors and everything off. This is just to kind of give you a bit of an update. I had taken some shortcuts that I wish I wouldn't have. I just thought I'd share you with that. Shortcuts always cost you in the end. When I had the carburetors out, I went through typically like cleaning all the jets, making sure the floats work properly and the float valve and all that. Got it all together, it ran fine, but I always smelt gas when I come into the shop. There was something sweating a little bit. So underneath the bottom, you'd see just a little sweat of gasoline. It wasn't even enough to make a drop. It would just make the bottom of the carburetor wet and evaporate. Well, what it ended up being, and I've run into this before, I should have done it right, but the little connecting tubes between the carburetors, there's one between these two and one between these two, and then in the center is the actual feed. But those little tubes, they're about 1.25 inches long, and they got 2 O-rings on each end, sandwich them into between the carburetors. And those O-rings, you got a bike that's in 1981, is 45 years old or so. Those O-rings are old, and they would just sweat. So I ended up having to pull the carburetors out, put new O-rings in those, put it all back together again. And then I noticed too that the gauge for my fuel gauge on the gas tank, it was dripping a tiny little bit. Well, I don't believe in gas dripping. It's got to be fixed. So I pull the gas tank out, take that apart, clean everything all up, glue it all back together, and this was after I had the gas tank all painted, perfectly nice, beautiful clear coat on it, about 5 coats of clear coat. It really was really beautiful. Well, I laid it on its side on some rags to protect it so I could pull that gas gauge out of there. Well, when I did that, I didn't realize that some of those rags had a little bit of gasoline on them. It probably spilt while I was getting things ready to take it apart. So anyway, long story short, the gasoline reacted with that clear coat, which wasn't very old yet. It was only a few days, maybe a week old, and made that clear coat right down through the base coat. It all flared, a patch about as big as my hand. So I had to sand that side of the tank down to bare metal, prime it, spray some color on it, and I don't know, once something is flared like that, it's like the chemistry goes right down into the metal, and you fight with that all the way through. Finally, I got it all redone. It's in the other part of the shop there, just waiting to go back on the bike. But I've got the gaskets, that gauge thing bolted back in there. It's a big rubber seal on that. But the bolts, there's about 6 bolts that go around there. They have to be put in with Seal-All on the threads so they don't leak, or else the threads will weep because they go right into where there's gasoline. So I'm waiting for all that to get done. When I'm going to be gone for a couple of days, so when I get back, I'm just letting that cure, give it all the time it takes. I don't want to mess with all that again. But my main deal in making this video is just to show you that it pays to change those O-rings out in the first place. If I'd have done that, I would have avoided all that stinking trouble. So I thought I'd share that with you. I should really start it up for you too, because you didn't get to hear it run last time. Again, we'll just go ahead and fire it up. Just a little bit of gas left in there. Runs real nice. Cold-blooded, it takes a while to warm up. It runs real nice. I just want to confirm you guys know this thing actually runs after sitting all that time. So once the weather breaks, we'll take it out for a ride on the highway and work out any other little bugs there are in it. But I think it's going to be fine. So we've done a lot of work on this bike. We got it cheap, but we got about $500 or $600 in it, in parts, and literally I'm going to give hundreds of hours of labor. But pretty nice old bike now. It should run out real good. So anyway, just thought I'd share that with you. Hope you like it. We'll see you next time.